6'6" senior from Hawaii, number 32, Samuta Avea. And 6'9" junior from Brazil, number 5, Bernardo da Silva.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing? It's another new day. It's the start of February, and I decided to go ahead and get my video out of the way. I got it because UH men's basketball plays on Thursday against UC Davis on the road, and they already jumped on the plane and headed to the mainland. But this time, I decided to do my video right away. Well, not so much right away after the last game, which was against Cal State Bakersfield at home. And fortunately, UH ended up winning that one 72-69, but that was a nail biter, that's for sure. So anyway, subscribe if you haven't, if you like my Supercross uploads, or if you like my 2 cents on my local college basketball team, the University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. It's much appreciated. And doesn't look like I'll have this channel monetized anytime soon, but I'm not going to give up. I really want to get out to the workforce. Hopefully that, hopefully some people from ESPN Honolulu will have seen these videos. And speaking of videos, I did get some B-roll on my phone that I took all myself. And this time you won't be seeing an audio clip on this one. But anyway, as I mentioned, it was between Cal State Bakersfield and the University of Hawaii, and it ended in a 72-69 decision with UH in front. So, let's get started. Okay, Cal State Bakersfield. Wow, that turned out to be a battle. UH had a good first half, but a not so good second half. And I'm looking at the stats on HawaiiAthletics.com. UH did extremely well in that first half. They actually jumped out to an early lead and managed to hit all their free throws. They made 8 of them. And they also hit 7 triples. They shot over 50%. They were 7 for 13. And in terms of field goals, they were 15 for 25 at 60%. And usually when you shoot that well from the first half, you're prone to have a good game overall. And they really needed this win after what happened against UC Santa Barbara with that A.J. Mitchell bucket that turned out to be the dagger. And fortunately, UH, I still think they'll be okay. And Jovan McClanahan even said so on the ESPN Honolulu fans' voice that he knows they'll be okay. And Bakersfield, they're not really a 3-point shooting team, although they only made three total triples. They had 2 in the first half. They ended up making only 10 field goals in that first half out of 25. But still, that first half was really good. They UH jumped out to an early lead. They scored the first 11 points of the game, and after that, it was too much for Bakersfield to overcome because UH managed to win it and lead it wire to wire. But in the second half was when things started unraveling. UH led at the break 45-28. But of course, obviously, what I didn't know was the fact that Bakersfield was shorthanded. They had only 8 guys on their roster because some guys were out hurt. And they lost some guys to graduation, mainly John Stith. And he was a pain and he was a pain in the backside when they came here. But fortunately, UH did pretty well in that first half. They led 45-28, as I said earlier. And I did get a few triples on my phone. And the fact that Bakersfield was shorthanded made it look, the way that they played was so deceiving, especially in that second half. And they actually made a major run and cut the gap all the way down to 4 points. But fortunately, UH responded. They ended up making 13 field goals. Bakersfield did. But just like the first half, they only missed one free throw. UH did miss a couple or they actually missed six field goal or free throws in that second half. They were 15 for 21. But I think what really helped out Bakersfield was the fact that UH did not hit a triple at all. They were 0 for 11, ending up with 7 overall. All 7 of those triples came in the first half. But as a matter of fact, Bakersfield, they didn't hit a triple either until the final second when Travis Henson made that triple. When Travis Henson made one at the buzzer. And as a result, it turned out to be a 3-point win for the University of Hawaii. But honestly, I thought they would have played a lot better after what happened against UC Santa Barbara. And obviously that one was a major dagger. And of course, Jovan McClanahan's technical would ultimately have them lose the game. But in this game, the only guy who got a technical was on Bakersfield. It was Dalf Pinopio. And I think that was because of a flop. And yes, it was because of a flop, because I did get that Noel Coleman free throw right here.
Shooting one shot.
Of course, Noel ended up with 11 points that night. He did pretty well. He hit a triple, but Kamaka Hepa was the guy who was banking triples like there was no tomorrow in that first half. He ended up with 4, and in terms of total points, he had 17 to tie Jovan McClanahan. But McClanahan, surprisingly, was 0 for 4 from three-point range. He did pretty well from field goals. He was 7 for 11. Kamaka Hepa was 5 for 10. And another guy that I thought did really well was Bernardo da Silva. He had 8 points, but he only missed 1 free throw. In fact, he only took 1 free throw. But both Da Silva and Hepa had ended up fouling out. And that's the one problem that I really saw with the officiating in that game. The officials were just too foul happy. And as a result, 2 guys on Hawaii ended up fouling out, as I just said. And Samuta Avea actually scored 6 of the first 11 points, but would never score again after that because he was saddled with foul trouble. And that really took him out of his rhythm. And I was actually pretty surprised because normally Samuta is way better than 6 points. But I think that foul trouble really did him in. And the fact that UH got some really good looks, the fact that a lot of them never went, was really, 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 really frustrating. They were 6 for 19 in the second half. But you know what? They've done worse. Like I mentioned in a prior game, UC Irvine in 2018 at their place, we ended up winning that game by a single point. And how many buckets did we make in the second half? Only 3. But fortunately, UH is clutch at the free throw line. As I mentioned, they only missed 6 in that second half. But a lot of those free throws came towards the end. And I still think that they could have played better. And that's kind of why I'm kind of giving them a B for this game, because they really found their shot in the first half, and then all that shooting kind of went away. But still, they built a big enough lead. They were able to withstand that run. But I still think that UH has to do a better job when it comes to not using a big lead to kind of fall on that cushion, so to speak. But still, UH did well. They managed to rebound. Overall, I still think that their game could have been much, much better, particularly in that second half. But anyway, I still think we could have played better. I did predict that they would win this game. Did I think we would win against Santa Barbara? Yes, I did, actually, because we were on home turf. And we would have won that game if it wasn't for that cheap technical from McClanahan. Especially when AJ Mitchell was banking shots like there was no tomorrow. And I still meant what I said in that last video about Santa Barbara, because when the shoe's on the other foot, we will get you back. If it won't happen this year, that was because we had a setback. So anyway, for this game, I definitely would give them a B, mainly because they almost coughed up that lead. But fortunately, UH managed to come through. They managed to win this game, but they really, really need to do something about these cold streaks, because in that second half, they went almost 10 whole minutes without a field goal. And that's how Cal State Bakersfield, rather, was able to come back and make it a close game and make it even closer than it initially was. Because a lot of what I saw against the CSUN in that home matchup came back to haunt the University of Hawaii. Of course, in that game, CSUN, they went on a 20-3 run and almost managed to cough up and almost managed to take the lead away. But fortunately, UH responded with some timely field goals. And just like against Bakersfield, their field goals were very timely and much needed too. But I would really, really like them to cut down on the cold streaks. But I think, because I actually asked Gary Dickman this on the Fans Voice on the Sports Animals. What's up with the cold streaks? Is it mental or is it on the court? And he thinks it's a mix of both, just like I do too. I do think that they could have played better, and they had a lot of good looks too. And it's not like it was bad ball behavior. And it's not like they were playing bad. I mean, they just had a lot of bad bounces. And we've been going through some pretty wacky weather lately. And do I think that was probably why? So. But sometimes that stuff can happen. We actually won over Fairfield back in 2003, and the shooting there was really pathetic from both teams, as a matter of fact. UH ended up winning that one 50-49 in overtime off a Julian Sensley triple at the end. So we've won some games with bad shooting, and we could have won the Yale game if a lot of our shots had gone. Maybe not maybe not taking it to overtime. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, still, I thought UH played well. They had a good first half, a not so good second half. They really got to do something to put a complete game together, at least at home anyway. Because I have to admit, even though I didn't watch the Riverside game on the road, I thought the Riverside game on the road was probably UH's most complete game ever because they had 9 turnovers overall. They only trailed for no more than a minute the entire game. And still, they did themselves a lot of good. And I thought that they definitely did themselves a lot of good mentally by stopping a win streak of Riverside for a change. Because for so many years, if a team has a win streak, Riverside seems to be the team that ruins it. Now, anyway, we're heading to a road trip. I believe that UH will split the road trip at worst. Now, I don't know if they'll get a win over UC Davis, especially after what happened last year, where we had built a 14-point lead only to see it vanish because of bad playing. And especially with 9 turnovers in the final 10 minutes after only 4 in the first 30 minutes. That's what Coach Ganot had said. But anyway, we've had some good luck against Davis. Do I think we'll win? I don't know. Probably not. But hey, I like to be proven wrong. And I do think they will prove me wrong. They proved me wrong at Riverside because they're a good defensive team. I do believe that. Did I think we would win at Riverside? I actually did not. But they proved me wrong. And I thought it would be better if we split the road trip. Of course, we would have liked to get 2 wins, but Irvine winning at their place is no easy feat, but we've done it before. But anyway, UC Davis, they got some damn good players like Elijah Pepper and Christian Anigwe, and even their newest guy, T.Y. Johnson, because if UH is gonna win at Davis, they're gonna have to go through them. They're gonna have to put a lot of emphasis on the start and not have a turnover every minute, like they did at the home matchup. I actually ended up watching that game. I didn't go to that one due to a personal matter, as I said in a prior video. But still, I'm a little skeptical about the UC Davis game, but I hope that they can prove me wrong. But hey, they proved me wrong before. I think they can do it again. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it. You're going to see some more B-roll before I wrap up this video. But before we end this video today, I would like to also give a shout out to Kanoa Leahey and his family, because if you grew up in Hawaii like I did, and you were into sports, there was absolutely no way that you were ever going to not hear of the name Jim Leahey, or even Chuck Leahey, Jim's dad, who called a lot of the games on radio and TV, because like I've been saying on social media, but before I get to that, I want to express my condolences to the Leahey Ohana, because Jim Leahey, the voice of UH Sports, had passed away on Monday at the age of 80 after a battle with dementia. And God knows, I watched that man growing up on Hawaii sports for so long until he retired in 2018. But his health had been taking turns for the worst. And unfortunately, he's no longer suffering. He's already up there. So, I have so many memories of him on the basketball broadcast. Now Kanoa Leahey is the play-by-play announcer. But as far as Jim Leahey goes, I never met him, but I know my dad actually fixed his car once before in 2008. And what Jim Leahey did for Hawaii sports was absolute magic. That guy was freaking good at what he did. He was just as good as Robert Kekala, and I don't think anyone will ever top those guys. Of course, Robert Kekala passed away at 56 years old last year, or excuse me, in 2021. And you know, those guys are the heart and soul of UH sports. And God knows I watched those guys for so long growing up on TV. And those two are only part of the reasons why I want a career in Hawaiʻi sports myself. And believe me, I'm still trying. I'm still trying to get out there. I'm hoping to work. I like to work for ESPN Honolulu. I've applied for a couple of their positions. Unfortunately, I haven't had much luck. I know I gotta do something pretty quickly. But anyway, what Jim Leahey did for Hawaiʻi sports is what Alex Trebek did for Jeopardy. He left a long-lasting legacy. And as another comparison, what Jim Leahey did for Hawaiʻi sports is what Art Ekman did for Supercross when I was growing up. Because Art Ekman, when he called Supercross races, man, that guy was freaking money in the bank, let me tell you. Because that guy was freaking good at what he did, Art Ekman. He could call a Supercross and make it look so professional, look so exciting. And that's what Jim Leahey did for Hawaiʻi athletics. And you know, it's still hard to fathom that Jim Leahey's no longer with us. I'm going to say that right now. So before we end this video, I would like to take a moment of silence to honor Jim Leahey. And of course, I'll never forget that man for as long as I live. And that was kind of why I delayed doing this video, because I wanted to kind of pay tribute to him. So, first of all, I'd like to take a moment of silence to honor that man, Jim Leahey, just before we end this video. Okay, that's good enough. And in the words of the late, great Jim Leahey, as we end this video, I will say, though, that I do think that UH will split this road trip. But if they come away with 2 wins, that's a good way to prove me wrong. I do think they'll come away with the win at Cal Poly. But again, as long as we play well, we should at least split the road trip, and that will be the worst that we could do. So, in the words of the late, great Jim Leahey, Malama pono ke kahi I ke kahi.
69.